3 photos of David working.
My name is David, and I'm a filmmaker with the National Park
A mix of
Service.
colorful visuals, including a man on a bicycle.
The Natchez Trace Parkway has asked me to make a film about their park.
The
during
park website
fall.
scrolls down to another video.
You can check out the Natchez Trace website if you'd like to see that video. In addition to that video, I'll also be making this vlog, which will hopefully show a little bit of behind
Traveling
the
in an
scenes.
airport with luggage. A view out the side of a window. Text reads IAD, Virginia. Then BTR, Baton Rouge. David loads equipment cases.
The goal is to get from Natchez, Mississippi to Nashville in 5 days, completing a 444-mile
Text
trip.
Natchez MS.
So I have landed in Natchez, Mississippi. It's a little bit after 4 p.m. The plan is to get some general B-roll footage of the town of Natchez, showcasing the Mississippi River, which is really crucial to this story.
Cars drive past a parked horse-drawn carriage, followed by an ivy-covered tree canopy.
Can't wait to get out there.
Text Natchez MS. Population 15,455. The horse carriage from earlier is now pulling a man down a street. A 3-story brick building with 2-story porch. The video product is referenced.
All right, this is the Mississippi. And many years ago, people from the Ohio Valley would have supplied goods to Natchez using this river. I spent a lot of time filming barges with the hope that they would be symbolic of old boats floating down the river.
A barge floats underneath a bridge.
But now I'm behind schedule and I've just got to move on to the next thing. I have a few more things in town, and then that's pretty much it for Natchez. And then I'm going to milepost 0, and that will officially start my trip.
Brown and black spotted cows in a field. On-screen text Natchez MS. A whip pan with a vehicle ends on a bridge with the park name Natchez Trace Parkway.
This is the official start of the Natchez Trace Parkway. Many years ago, people would have been coming down the Mississippi River and then staying in Natchez and then hiking back on the Natchez Trace Trail. Now it's a road, it's a scenic highway.
A man on a bicycle.
You want over by the sign?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. This morning was the final 10 miles of the Natchez Trace Parkway for me. It was just a joy to have this gorgeous national treasure, really. And it really has been a lot of fun.
That same cyclist heads down the road. A vehicle-mounted camera quickly shows a car's POV of the parkway. Many different shots of a
I've been
camera.
up here at Emerald Mound for probably an hour, trying to get a shot through the weeds.
The rounded
This
hill.
is the second largest man-made earthen structure in the United States, and this type of pre-Columbus architecture is rare. The kicker is that I'm actually standing on the structure to get this angle. It's actually pretty hard to explain how large this is. It goes from there all the way down to there, and it's also built up, so everything I'm standing on is like level 1, which is super, super high, and then that is the second level. And here comes some people.
A group of 3.
I've also been just kind of enjoying the space because it's so peaceful.
An overlapping transition of a vehicle followed by open road and a whip pan showing a 1-level building with porch the entire length. Text reads, mile marker 15.5.
Behind me is Mount Locust, and I've been filming here for a few minutes. The park rangers mentioned that this was used as an inn when the trail was active. The other thing they told me is that a former park ranger was born here.
An old rocking chair moves back and forth. Text, mile 122, Cypress Swamp. A wooden boardwalk
Someone told me that Cypress Swamp is a nursery for baby alligators.
surrounded by several dozen trees.
That might be true, and in my filmmaker brain, I was planning to audition my Crocodile Dundee impersonation. But all I saw were squirrels, which is probably for the best.
A squirrel scurries up a tree. A tree growing out of the swamp comes into focus. Text, day 3, Jackson, MS overtop a car zipping by in the rain.
A little bit of a curveball. It looks like we have rain all the way up to Nashville. So that's interesting. And real quick, I'll just show you my route. So I'm in Jackson, Mississippi this morning. I'll be going all the way up to Tupelo, which has a park visitor center.
Text, mile 266, Visitor Center. A 1-level brick building with a glass entrance, opening the door.
Visitor centers are great places to regroup, and I love when rangers give you the backstory.
I'm taking you to a section of the old trace.
Ooh, puddle, hang on.
Jane Farmer in a green and gray NPS uniform stands in the woods.
It's hard to maintain as many miles of trail as we have already. The ideal thing would be for it to be entirely connected. That's kind of cost prohibitive. The areas that it's developed are places where it's important to have those places specifically protected.
David climbs under a black trash bag covering the camera to avoid raindrops. Jane Farmer walks down a narrow trail with lush forest on both sides. A transition with multiple textures shows a vehicle POV of the road with water droplets on the lens.
It is 6 o'clock. I'm at Colbert Ferry. It's been raining all day, and I'm in Arkansas, Alabama. I'm in one of those states.
A low bridge with about a dozen arches.
Before this bridge was built, George Colbert operated a ferry to get people using the Trace across the river. A century later, we use this bridge.
Holding the park brochure.
And today I'll be going all the way up to Nashville and the end of the Trace, which is the northern terminus right here. I just want to give a quick shout out to the people who make these brochures and maps. These are made by the Harpers Ferry Interpretive Design Center, which is where I work, and the people who make these put a lot of care and love into them. I like to see how long I can make one last, and this one is surviving.
David pushes a cart full of camera gear down a hotel hallway. A time-lapse of David driving, followed by sunny time-lapsed vehicle POV mile 350.5.
I'm on the old sunken trail. I've been
Sunken Trace.
working this section for a little bit. In this area, there was 3 different ruts where they moved in order to avoid the mud. I've been working the dolly for a little bit on this section of the trail.
The trail covered in leaves is revealed by a tree in the foreground.
And it looks like it's about to start raining again, so I'm gonna get out of here.
A car passes below our perspective, followed by other vehicles.
So this smokestack looking thing is actually a burial monument to Meriwether Lewis, who died on the Trace. For those a little rusty on their American history, that's the explorer best known for leading the Lewis and Clark expedition.
David looks up as wind moves the trees around him.
My park contact just tried to get in touch with me to let me know that the tropical storm, which has been causing all this rain, is right behind me. And so I'm gonna get out of here pretty quick.
Camera on David's shoulder. The wiper blades of the vehicle push away the rain. A car zips past. Text, mile 404.7, Jackson Falls.
Yeah, so this is Jackson Falls, and it's easily my favorite place on the road. It's secluded, so if you come during a weekday, there's a high probability you'll have a moment to just space out and chill.
Several leaves are caught in the flow of a creek. POV footage of a vehicle driving and rounding a corner, and then driving across a bridge with autumn colors all around. A bridge with 2 arches is revealed with fall foliage on both sides.
A few minutes ago, I drove across that bridge and officially completed the Natchez Trace Parkway. So now I'm down here, obviously, and I'm getting a few pickups of the bridge. I really like this perspective.
Multiple angles of the bridge, which appears around 150 feet high.
I think after this, it's pretty much on to Nashville, and then that wraps up my trip.
An old-time vehicle drives across the bridge.
I've officially completed the Natchez Trace Parkway. Fantastic way to end the trip.
The final video product, David runs down cement stairs, downtown Nashville. Text, day 5, Nashville TN.
You know, the bubble of comfort that a car provides makes this whole experience soft.
Camera gear inside a vehicle.
On this trip, it kept raining, and all I could think about was what it would be like to walk the entire dirt road exposed to the elements. Today, it's an easy drive with smooth on and off exits and an overall low-stress experience.
Cars driving on the trace.
But this is so different from how it would have been hundreds of years ago when people were hiking through the mud and camping out each night.
Inside an airport transit system.
It's a reminder of how hardy our ancestors must have been.
David rides up an escalator with headphones on. The double arch bridge referenced earlier surrounded by fall foliage. Credits include produced by the National Park Service, followed by the National Park Service Arrowhead logo.